What up, party people? Welcome back to another episode of Hops Geek News, your home for comic books, movies, TV shows, and of course, we typically feature a beer of the week. I am Matt. With me, as always, is Lauren. And man, first and foremost, we have not been doing news and notes in case you've missed out because we have been on an illustrious European vacation, if you will, where we actually got to see this movie. Check out our out of theater reactions. Check out our social medias, Hops Geek News, because we've been sharing a lot of really good things that we've been doing on the Disney cruise in Barcelona and London and Portugal, all of these really cool spots. So come along as we journey through a few different countries. And as always, Hops Geek News. Subscribe, like, share, follow, all of that good stuff. Help the podcast grow. Drop a review. Today's episode is actually going to be on the Deadpool and Wolverine character comic book fun facts. So the movie is out. A lot of us have seen it. So we're going to kind of dive into some of the characters that have either been in a Deadpool movie or in the Deadpool and Wolverine movie that we know of so
These were
far.
all characters we saw in the trailer. So we have
Yes.
not seen the movie yet because we're recording this early. So you don't need to worry about any spoilers at all. This will be completely spoiler free because we honestly have no idea what happened in the movie. These are characters we saw in the trailer that we're like, oh, let's look that up a little bit.
We're giving you a little background. That's what we like to do. We like to bring some knowledge to the show. So first things first, my beer of the week comes from One Family Brewing out of Manassas, Virginia. It is called Luscious Lip Sweater. It is a delicious hazy IPA coming at 6.4%, brewed and canned. Guys and girls, show us your stash. I chose this on account of the fact that, Wolverine is a nice bearded, beautiful man. I wore this Roosevelt's X-Men shirt for Lauren today. She's got the Wolverine shirt on. And of course, fruity aromas of gooseberries, lychee, and mango with a touch of spice from the New Zealand Nelson Sauvin hops, finished with a bright citrus notes from the Citra hops. Drink, enjoy all the, man, had to go with the good stuff. So Lauren, what's your beer of the week before we dive into these characters?
So I have a beer from Tactical Brewing, which Tactical is veteran owned. Wolverine is a veteran, and we will be talking about Patch a little bit. Obviously, that is Wolverine, but we're going to go into why the persona of Patch was created. So this is Hop Cult from Tactical Brewing. It is a West Coast IPA with a Vic secret because, as Patch, he has to be a little bit secret. And Madripoor is kind of like a cult in some areas. So I got multiple things trying to go on here, and I have it in my Cigar City glass, which I usually always use for Wolvie because he loves his cigars. I wonder if we will see him smoking a cigar. I mean, he's got to smoke a cigar in this.
I imagine they've come on. If he is in this movie like we think we've seen. Come on,
right? But like the way that the smoking has changed in movies, and like this is a Disney movie.
Yeah, but it's
I'm
cigars.
gonna be looking for that now. I didn't even think about that until now. I mean, he has a reference or smoked a cigar in like every single Wolverine movie because that's what he does.
Exactly. I don't know, but we're gonna kick things off.
He's gonna get lung cancer.
It's true. Well, his lungs heal. I don't know.
Exactly.
Yay. Anyways, let's kick this off. We're going to kick it off with Shatterstar, who is actually one of the X-Force in Deadpool 2 that was brought back for this film. His parents are Longshot and Dazzler. Ooh, Dazzler is a character we might see. I've been saying it's Taylor Swift. A lot of people we don't know because the comic book is a 4-run issue that's dropping this September by Jason Lowe, who's a friend of our show. And so a lot of people have been speculating. We don't know, but maybe we do know by now because the movie's been out. And he was actually
so funny that people listening are like, "Oh, of course she was in it," or "Oh, of course she."
I know they're like, "Stupid idiot! You always thought Taylor Swift was going to be in this, man." We don't know yet. We're recording this July 9th. Fun fact. So we have no idea. But what we do know is that he was born 100 years in the future on Mojo World. His parents have zero memory of him because they got their memories wiped. So he was actually trained as an arena warrior. However, at one point, he travels back in time. And, much like most X-Men tend to do, they travel back in time or forward in time or in time. And he teams up with Cable. And this is where they found the X-Force. While in the past, he once lent his DNA to create Longshot, which makes him his own grandfather. Imagine being such a Chad, such an alpha that you kind of become your own grandfather. I don't really understand.
I had to think about that.
I don't get it at all. I don't know.
His DNA in the past was used to create his son. So now he's his own grandfather.
That's
because the son is his father. It's like a paradox. I don't know.
It's
like
me,
then none of them ever exist.
Mr. McAllister, the father.
But it's like you can't have one without the other.
Look, I don't know. All right. We don't try to pretend that we know what this is all about. Okay. a lot of this stuff was just we're all on cocaine fueled binges. Apparently, we write this stuff. One quick character I want to shout out to is Blind Al, who is actually a target Deadpool had that he later befriended. We all know her. She's
Aren't we
been in it from
so
the
glad
beginning.
that they did?
I know. I love
Yeah.
Blind Al. She is such a sweetheart. She's a badass. She got the dual wielding pistols, man. She's always ready to get out there and fight. Dude,
I
she's a
love her.
badass, man. I love her. I
It's
love her.
hilarious.
Now, who else do
So
we
next
have?
we have Peter. I love Peter. So of course Wade saved his sweet Peter when he got Cable's time traveling device fixed. And if you look him up on the Marvel database, his alias is Sugar Bear and his weakness is type 1 and type 2 diabetes, which is possible. I did actually Google it. So he is listed as Peter W on the Marvel database. And did you know they created like a whole social media account for him? So like you can look
Really?
him up as Peter W and like they have like they created a whole personality for him where like there's pictures of like him and his wife and her personal trainer, and of course she's like snuggled up to her personal trainer. They just made him this average like
Oh
good
yeah,
looking
to like
kind of
play
guy.
into it or whatever. That's
Yeah, and
actually
like he
kind of
likes
funny.
beekeeping. Yeah. But
It was on a beak.
okay, so while there's no direct comic book reference for Peter, there is a conspiracy theory that he's based on Peter Wisdom from the comics, or
Oh,
Peter W. In the comics, Wisdom was actually a secret agent who worked for a British organization, Black Air, and was a pain in the ass for many of the mutants in the X-Men universe. He had a James Bond-esque headshot, Peter did in the movie, and he landed his parachute while many were not capable of doing that.
he did.
And
That's right.
Deadpool did ask if he was getting catfished, so maybe he was getting catfished all along.
Maybe he's actually working for MI6 or whatever it actually may be. I don't know. But yeah, no, Peter's great. I love the scene. Obviously in the trailer for Deadpool 2, you remember he was coming down. He's got the goggles on. He's just a normal guy in his button-up shirt. And
Oh,
there's
he
no
is.
rhyme or reason to it, but I love it. It's so good.
It is fun, especially when Dopinder is like, they're like, "Do you have any special talents?" And he said something like, "I just want to help or whatever." And they're like, "You're in." And Dopinder's like, "Son of a bitch!" Or he screams some
Yeah,
obscenity because he just wanted to join and they wouldn't let
he
him.
did. Dopinder's just a getaway driver. All right, man. Now, let's go to Dogpool, aka Wilson, not to be confused with Mr. Wilson. Now on Earth 103173, which is certainly a mouthful, scientists were working on the Mascara X project. It was a similar process to Weapon X, but the goal here was actually to create a new process for the Maybelline cosmetic company that would give its customers eternal
I even
youth.
picked that up. I read it as Babe line. It probably is
Maybe
Babeline.
it's Maybelline.
Maybe
Oh,
it's Babeline.
it's Maybelline. You're babe.
It
You're
makes so much
eternally
more sense.
youthful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just didn't
Yeah.
pick up on that when I read it.
Oh man, that Dogpool was actually at this point getting experimented on because Marvel, if you're Rocket Raccoon, if you're an animal, no animal's apparently safe from getting experimented on, unfortunately. And in doing so, the scientists believed him dead, so they discarded his body. And then it was discovered by performers of a local circus, who then exploited the dog's power, giving him the name Deadpool, the Daredevil dog. Now, 616 Deadpool then shows up and recruits him to be a member of the Deadpool Corps, which we touched on a couple weeks ago in our Deadpool episode. If you want to go back and listen to that, we dive into Deadpool 1, Deadpool 2, some comic fun facts about Deadpool. How many times can we say Deadpool? Take a drink every time we say Deadpool. It's like meeting at a Comic-Con at the Comic-Con of Deadpools.
And
I
some Deadpool fun facts from the
and
movies.
we do have some Deadpool fun facts. I hope there's a running counter somewhere. If anybody actually really is enjoying what we do and you're running a counter, please let us know and we'll include it when we get back. I don't know. Maybe you'll win like my eternal love, I guess. But yeah, Dogpool we know for sure Dogpool's in the movie. He's that scraggly old dog that Wade is carrying at one point, and that led us to believe that maybe we are right. The Deadpool Corps makes an appearance in the movie. That's what's fun about this. We don't actually know yet.
No idea. So Yukio, we see her at the beginning of the trailer. Her comic book first appearance was in Wolverine #1 in 1982. She was once a thief alongside Gambit, and then became an assassin in Japan for Clan Yoshida. So if Yoshida doesn't sound familiar, or you don't remember why it sounds familiar, that's Mariko's last name, which is Wolverine's love of his life. We met them both in The Wolverine, if you only watch the movies. So she's definitely in the comic more like the Wolverine Yukio than the Deadpool Yukio, because in the Deadpool one, he's the one he refers to as Pinkie Pie. So she's dating Negasonic Teenage Warhead. So Wolverine was a target for her, actually, but she ended up becoming friends with him and with the X-Men. That seems very common in the Marvel universe.
Everybody, dude, Marvel and Fast and Furious. I'm noticing some trends. they're kind of the same if you think about it, right?
So many friendships are formed by
Everybody starts off as
being
enemies until they
assassins and
start to
hits.
get to know each other, and then they become family,
I know, the
friends.
Hawkeye and
Look,
Black Widow.
it's just
It's
beauty, okay? It is beautiful. I love
so
it.
at one point, Wolverine actually became possessed and put her in a wheelchair. She also watched out for Wolverine's foster daughter at another point, Amiko, when he couldn't. Wolverine had promised the birth mom that he would look after her, but he had X-Men duties and he just couldn't always be there for the baby.
Went out to get cigarettes, the classic.
No,
He couldn't do it,
cigars,
man.
not
He went out for
cigarettes, cigars.
cigars and a good old moose lager or whatever it is that he
Oh, he does
drinks.
like his beer, Canadian and in a bottle. Although now
Yes,
they're doing
Labatt
Heineken ads.
Blue. They
Apparently,
are.
they like their beer from Holland.
Oh, were you seeing the Deadpool and Wolverine like Bachelor trailer thing that they did where
I
Wolverine's like posted up? Oh, dude, it's
Riley
so.
actually tagged me in that, and then I shared it to our socials on the Instagram.
Oh,
Uh,
right, that's right.
yeah, where he's like trying. They okay. So this is one of my theories towards the. I know we're gonna talk theories at the end, but I'm like, I feel like they both are gonna come back because they seem like they're just having too much fun together.
Okay, I'm glad you said that because there is no way Hugh Jackman looks like he's having the absolute time of his life again, and I
He
don't think
really
I've seen
does.
that glow from Hugh Jackman in a movie in a long time.
What and just
I
like they're on their tour, like they were just posting pictures in Berlin and
Yeah,
Korea, and like, oh my gosh,
he looks
they just
like I get he's 55. I understand that, and we can
right.
always Marvel magic our way around stuff, I guess.
Let's just do
Like
the Old
if
Man Logan story next.
and then maybe
Be
you
that's
introduce Daphne Keene. Like maybe give us a little bit of
yes.
time with this
Ease us
Logan
off
in the
of it.
MCU, maybe, and then you give us Daphne Keene. I don't know. We'll talk theories in a minute. Let's go
Okay.
into Aelith now.
Goliath.
Alioth, I can never pronounce
I think
names
I
correctly.
misspelled that.
We first met Alioth in the MCU in Loki. Fun fact. However, he was also in the trailer. In the comics, he is allegedly the first being to free itself from the time stream. Now, if you remember Loki season 1, that's the big purple cloud that was going to swallow them up, and he actually swallowed up the old man Loki from like the original comic suit. Whole big thing. Now, he's known to be the supreme time being. A temporal barrier blocks. How do we say his name again?
Goliath.
Alioth. I already forgot.
You're
From
good.
entering Kang's realm, Chronopolis, but also from conquering all time periods. Alioth
Goliath.
travels by the way of timeliness. I don't know why this is so hard for me.
We
Transtemporal
all have those
medium.
weird words we
I'm
can't
over here
say.
like pronouncing words such as Chronopolis, transtemporal, Babylene, but I can't say Alioth for some reason.
Yeah, you just
Now,
did.
I did. Look, I see that. Now it's a transtemporal medium called limbo. That's where Alioth travels from by the way of the timeless. Alioth sweeps over the atmosphere of limbo like a storm system of absorbed time travelers and conquers all domains across time. Now, again, we
Which
first saw Alioth
made
as the big.
Loki make more sense. Yeah.
Yeah, it made a lot more sense in Loki. Well, I guess this is kind of like because in the movie, we'll get to that. I'm jumping ahead. I don't want to. I have well, okay. In the movie, allegedly, they're going to be in like what we think is the no man's land, the dead space of time, because we see the Fox Century universe. So it makes sense if Alioth is there because it's kind of a time traveling movie. We see the TVA.
He's eating all the Fox universes.
He's eating the Fox universe. Yeah.
I guess that is what he's
It's
doing.
literally it's gonna
Oh
be a
my
version of
god.
Deadpool kills the Marvel universe, but with Deadpool kills the Fox universe. That's what this movie's going to be. I'm
Uh,
calling it now.
and I know we're recording things out of order. However, if you listen to our episode from a week ago, we did break down all of the X-Men movies, and like the timeline's so confusing. So it's like you have to kill off some of these timelines. Just
We
make it
just
make sense.
goodbye. It's so confused. I'm just reading. I was even reading through the notes that Lauren did for that, and I was just like, oh, I don't know. But speaking
I
of
like
Fox,
rewatched all these movies, although I didn't help myself that I rewatched them completely out of order. I don't know what the hell's wrong with me. And then today I was watching
we're
X2
recording out
again.
of order. You watched them out of order. We're just out of order. Okay, this is what
But this
happens when
whole
we
podcast is
decide to
out of
take a
order.
3-week vacation and everything's out of order. Everything falls
No,
apart.
it's not out of order. Pyro's appearances in the X-Men movies. The next
That's true.
character we have is Pyro. So we met him in the MCU in X2 over 20 years ago and saw him, same actor in the trailer. Did you know that was the same actor right away
Yeah,
when you
I
saw the
did.
trailer?
Yeah, he still
I
looks the
did
same,
not
just older.
realize that. I
Yeah.
guess he I mean, yeah, it's been over 20 years, but like I did not recognize
He
him
definitely looks a bit older, yeah, but
at
like
all. He doesn't look bad, but yeah, I guess he really does. Cause like, yeah, when I was on the treadmill earlier, I put on X2 and I was like, he really just has such a baby face in that movie.
he does. He
Um,
really does. Well, yeah, obviously. We all did.
so yeah, I guess when you see people more consistently, you're like, you don't notice the age, but like, I don't think I've seen him in anything since The Last Stand.
Yeah.
So, and he should have stayed in school. All right, his name in the movies is John, and obviously he's friends with Bobby and Rogue, and he always has a little lighter, and later he gets the little thing on his wrist and everything. And in the comics, his name is Saint John Alderdice. So Mystique actually recruits him to join the evil Brotherhood of Mutants, and Pyro eventually leaves that Brotherhood after getting the mutant-killing legacy virus, and he went to join the mutant leper colony for virus sufferers. Later, he left and turned to crime to finance a treatment until the virus caused his powers to begin flaring out of control. Which, if you have fire powers and they're flaring out of, they're literally flaring out of control.
Yeah.
Like that wouldn't be good. Pyro then briefly joined a team of other virus survivors in an unsuccessful search for a cure. At one point, Pyro actually stopped the Brotherhood from trying to kill Senator Kelly a second time, which Senator Kelly we saw in the first movie. He dies, and Mystique pretends to be him. However, he also in the comics helped try to kill Senator Kelly the first time and then stopped it the second time. And when he stopped it the second time, he did it by sacrificing himself. So this actually made Kelly rethink his position on mutants. However, sadly, Kelly was then killed while giving a pro-mutant speech by an anti-mutant terrorist. Pyro has
Man.
since been revived in the comics with an alien techno-organic virus. So
Anything.
I wonder, again, total off-the-wall theories, if him having the virus and being with those group of people, because they look like Mad Max people, like maybe these are
Well,
people who have the
yeah.
virus.
Or maybe actually that's a good point. I didn't even think about that.
I didn't until I was researching this.
Uh
Honestly, personally, like I've read X-Men comics, I've read a ton of Wolverine comics.
I'm
I've
not
never
well
really come
versed.
across Pyro in the comics.
Yeah, I'm not super well versed in X-Men. I'm gonna be honest. Like that's my one blind spot, just because it's so overwhelming at times. But Pym Falls makes an appearance. You do know everybody knows I am very much a Ant-Man lover, if you will. And we've mentioned this. It leads into our last character before Patch. Cassandra Nova is seen walking out of a giant Ant-Man head or Giant Man. In the Old Man Logan comics, there is a giant dead giant man. This is where Ant-Man died, and a town was built around it called Pym Falls.
It's pretty harsh.
I don't want to see him die, obviously. But now, Cassandra
Well,
Nova.
Kang said, "Didn't I kill you before?" Maybe that's the one he killed. Or he was talking
Oh.
about Captain America because
No,
he
was
was
he
wearing
talking
a
about
time.
Thor? Didn't I kill Thor? I don't remember.
Well, no, he said, "Didn't I kill you before?" But because
Maybe, you know what? I'm gonna be honest. I
then
don't
there was
remember.
speculation that Kang had killed Captain America when Captain America was time traveling because he was dressed like that. He said,
Oh.
"Are you the one with the hammer?" He does say something about the
Oh, that's
hammer,
right. That's right.
and
He
then
does.
he's like, "Haven't I killed you before?" And Captain America was wearing like an Ant-Man looking helmet when he was traveling through time and had the Mjolnir.
Well, it doesn't matter because Kang's no longer a part of this storyline. So let's go into Cassandra Nova, who is actually Professor Xavier's evil twin. Her first appearance was in New X-Men 2001. Now, when Xavier was in the womb, Nova used his immense latent power to create a body for herself from her brother's DNA. Comic books get really weird,
Everyone does.
folks. That's all you need to know. Now, sensing her innate evil, Xavier fights Nova and defeats her in the uterus, which
It's like
cements her.
sharks do that. Sharks sometimes eat their siblings in
Do
the
they
uterus.
really?
Same, yeah,
No,
certain
well,
types of sharks.
twins do that sometimes, don't they? Like one
I think they
embryo
like
takes over the other
absorb
one.
it or something. I think that's if
Yeah,
there's
that's
an
what I
issue
meant.
with one of the twins. I was supposed
Ah,
to be a twin. Maybe I absorbed my twin.
maybe
Whoops.
your version of Cassandra Nova's out there somewhere.
Maybe. Uh-oh.
Ooh. Well, Cassandra Nova obviously cemented her lifelong obsession with defeating him because she still comes out of the womb somehow. And
I
despite
know. I
this
don't know.
early loss,
I
she
couldn't go further down
survives.
this rabbit hole.
And she slowly grew a new physical body over several decades. It's kind of like Voldemort, I guess. I don't really understand.
Oh,
Now,
maybe.
even though she looks human, she's actually a Mumundrai. a psychic parasite from the Shi'ar mythology that acts as a person's dark reflection. So she has all of the same powers that Xavier has, and Mamundrai DNA manipulation powers, which allow her to duplicate or alter the genetic codes of others. With these powers, she can shift her molecules around to phase through solid matter and break down the DNA of others on a molecular level. Pretty intense stuff. Really interested to see how that played into the movie. We're gonna get
She's
again.
like intense in the movie
That's
too,
what I'm
like
saying.
how
She's powerful, man.
yeah, she's like throwing Wolvie around and just making him do things. So fun fact, real quick, I did look this up. We are filming this during Shark Week.
We
It is
are.
actually sand tigers that eat their siblings in the womb, and they do that so that they can grow bigger. And if you think you're not familiar with a sand tiger, you probably are. They're the creepy looking ones that are in like every aquarium that there are sharks.
Oh, all
All right.
right. That's cool. Now, lastly, before we get to Patch, she's done a lot more evil things. She's super evil. She killed about 16 million
She
mutants
is
once
super
upon a time
evil.
on Genosha. If you know, that's a pretty big thing in her very first comic book storyline. So, what a way to make an entrance.
She
She
really hit
also
the ground
switched
running.
bodies with Professor Xavier and did really evil things, like sent tiny sentinels into the X-Men to make them sick. Now, a lot more other evil things have been done. It looks like she may be Wolverine's biggest obstacle. Maybe Cassandra Nova's like a new Magneto, because you gotta nerf our heroes' powers somehow and see how everybody else kind of folds in. And who's to say that Cassandra Nova even dies? Because if this is such a big,
And they cast somebody very young. And if you look
they
at the
did.
comics, she doesn't look very youthful in the comics.
No, so I'm very interested if this is all, because Kevin Feige did say that this is actually the start of the X-Men in the MCU.
Mhm.
That means we're getting them soon. I got chills even saying it, man.
I know.
Say it again, Mufasa.
Right?
That's
X-Men,
kind
X-Men,
of
X-Men.
X-Men in the MCU, and so I don't know that she's actually probably going to die. I mean, if this is such a powerful character, with Professor
They might
Xavier,
think
which
she's dead at the end.
yeah, it's probably gonna be one of those, like, it's open-ended for her because we haven't gotten our MCU Professor Xavier yet. They're obviously not gonna use Patrick Stewart going forward, and so I
Just
am pretty
McAvoy.
pretty excited. I would love McAvoy back and all that, so I don't know, man. I guess we'll know at this point, but
Right.
yeah,
When
there
Stewart exists in another timeline, and I mean, we already
yeah.
saw him in this. It'd be cool if we got like Magneto. Like he's still doing
Ooh,
stuff,
he is. He's
even
doing
though he's like
things.
90.
He
Oh my
is.
gosh,
I
it's so
don't know.
crazy. All right, so Patch is just Wolverine, although there is no just Wolverine. He is Wolverine. Did you ever see that when Hugh Jackman hosted like the Oscars or something, and he did like a little musical number, and he ended it with "I am Wolverine."
Oh,
I always think of that. Anyways, but there's more to it. So we saw the back of him in the trailer, so we don't know if this will actually be Jackman. And with it being Deadpool, I could even see them like turning him around and it being a
oh
random
my god,
person.
that thought never even hit me. I never even thought about that.
Well, anything could happen. Deadpool could literally be like, "Oh, sorry, I thought you were somebody else."
I
Uh,
literally didn't even think
yeah.
about that. Wow.
I'm hoping it won't be that and that we will get Patch, but I don't put anything past Deadpool. And
Of
honestly, I'm
course,
gonna love
yeah,
all of it. It was like when Soldier Boy made a cameo in Gen V. It wasn't what I wanted, but I still freaking loved it.
yeah.
Um, okay, by now again, you guys know we don't know. So Patch, like I said, is Wolverine. He has black dress pants and a white coat and a bow tie and an eye patch. This is how he dresses on Madripoor while doing the best of what he does. His first time donning the patch or creating this patch persona and literally donning the patch was back in 1988. He had vigilante shit to do, vigilante shit to tend to on Madripoor, and the X-Men were actually in hiding at this time and believed to be dead. So Patch was born so he could oversee some stuff going on in Madripoor. It then became a thing that he always became Patch while there, as that is also how the locals have come to know him. Madripoor is a fictional island in the Marvel Comics, and it's the island we saw in Falcon and Winter Soldier, where Sharon Carter has apparently become a gangster. There are nicer parts and not so nice parts, so naturally there is a lot of crime and shady stuff going on, and a lot of mutants and
We did see Madripoor and
whatnot turning
Shang-Chi,
on.
just saying.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
I
they
need
were
to
in
rewatch
Madripoor. Yeah,
that. It's
man.
been a minute.
That was like the best, not the best Marvel movie, but like Phase 4,
It was
by far the
up
best.
there.
I want him
Yeah.
back so bad. Simu Liu, I need him now.
We need things to start connecting again, and I think this movie is going to bring in more characters and connect characters. I have faith. Oh, and we saw the ring. We don't know what that is. Okay, we're almost to theories. So if you do read any of the comic books where Patch does show up, they're Wolverine stories. He just looks nice at the beginning. I haven't read every Patch story, but every story I've read with him being
Wow.
Patch in
How
it,
you call yourself a Wolverine fan? I'm
I haven't
disgusted.
read them all.
Honestly,
Sorry,
disgusted right now.
there's a lot.
0 out of 10 stars.
My bad. I will change my son's name. He's
You're
no longer
disgusting.
Logan. I'm gonna change it to Dean. He's gonna be Dean Winchester since okay, so there is a storyline involving Gamora and the Soul Stone where she accidentally created Warp World, and in this world, Emma Frost and Wolverine were warped together, creating Diamond Patch. And if you Google that, it's actually a very nice, polished looking patch. It's
Oh,
very just there's something about it. It
he's a
just
diamond, obviously.
yeah. I mean, it's you still got the adamantium claws, you still got the eye patch, but
Shing
he's just
shing.
glowing. He's more
Everybody was
wolvy than Emma
glowing.
Frost, I would say. But
Nice.
yes, I want to give a shout out to my book, The Marvel Encyclopedia. My husband recently bought me the new one for this past Christmas. I had the old one years ago and I use them. I never would have thought I'd have a podcast where I'd be using them for. It used to just be Kaylee and I would be introduced to a new character in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or something, and we would go to the encyclopedia and look it up on our own. Now I'm creating these podcasts with that book. So shout out to that and shout out to marvel.com for all of these resources.
Oh yeah, we
And
got
that's
lots
all
of
we got.
resources. That's all we kind of got for the characters. Some theories real quick. Like I said, I don't think Cassandra Nova dies. This opens up this. I think obviously Deadpool's going to get pulled into our normal 616 universe of the MCU. But you really made me hope that Hugh Jackman isn't the last time because he's
No, I
having
shouldn't
so
have
much fun.
done that.
Because I was so fine with like, okay, this is it for him. Sweet. Now I'm ready for our new one. Now I'm like, no, screw that. Give me more. Hugh, you're having too much fun to quit now, buddy. All right.
Okay,
You
here's what
look
we
good.
need. The day
CGI is
after the
better.
movie comes out, he needs to post a picture in the gym and put hashtag staying Wolverine because
All I'm
before it was
saying,
becoming Wolverine again.
listen, we can CGI muscles on anybody these days, or we can
No, it's
DCGI
better when they
muscles
earn
on
them.
anybody these days. Okay. So you can dial back the workout
Well, he's in the
routine a
yellow
little bit.
suit now. Just add muscles like Homelander.
They do it for Superman suits. They tune them up a little bit, all that kind of stuff. I'm just
Well, we
saying
learned in Deadpool they had to take stuff out because he was too big
I'm
because they had
see
added the muscles. I mean, they added the
exactly.
Halloween costumes. I don't know any 5-year-olds that are that jacked. They're just walking around
Uh
pretending.
yeah, exactly. Hugh, I'm just saying, man, stick around. I think you might have some fun. I think we are going to get a few surprise cameos aside from Taylor Swift and allegedly Blake Lively if we get Lady Deadpool that it's looking like.
That would
Uh
be fun to see her because honestly, like I don't really know anything that I've really seen her in, but she seems like she's really
Gossip Girl.
I didn't watch Gossip Girl, although I know the Deep was in
Or
it.
was it? Yeah, yeah, he was in Gossip Girl. That's right. All right. For a second I was like, was it her? Yeah, she was in Piranha, I think it was 3D,
I
Piranha
didn't
3D.
see Piranha.
What are you doing out here?
I honestly
Better
don't think
things than
I've
watching
seen
those, obviously.
I feel like I've seen clips of her in things, but I can't think of Oh, I saw Green Lantern.
But there you go.
She
She was
wasn't
in that
bad.
movie. That's how they got married. There you go.
Oh man, at least something good came out of that movie.
That's true.
But no, she seems like she's a fine actor. She's gorgeous and she
She's
seems really funny. So I think she would be a great addition to the MCU.
even if it's a one-off, I feel like Ryan Reynolds would get her in the suit to play. It just really feels like for this movie, if we're going the Deadpool core, like we think it's a one-off Lady Deadpool. I
Oh,
really feel like they're gonna do that.
yes. Then there could be some kind of joke of like playing with yourself and then
Yeah.
maybe like making fun of Loki at the same time because the only time Loki could fall in love with was with himself
I might
as
be
Sylvie.
yeah, that's true, actually. Actually, that's a really good point. You're right. I didn't even
So
see you're
I
way
mean
smarter
that's
than I am, but that's way smarter. I just got a feeling that I think we're
all
gonna
of
get
these
some
are gonna be so
surprise.
wrong.
I think we're gonna get some surprise MCU characters. I really, really do, man.
Right, who do you
It
think
has
just
oh no.
you
I
know who
think
I'd
they're
love
gonna
to get?
who?
The younger Magneto.
It's gonna
I
be
love Michael
yeah.
Fassbender.
Michael Fassbender
He's
would be great.
so hot. I would
Watch,
love
it's
to get
gonna
him
be
back.
like the most random. Watch it be Kamala.
Oh, that
Like,
would be
what if
cool.
what if at the end of the movie they're now in our MCU world, and because Kamala is technically the first mutant in the MCU, what if they stumble upon
Ah,
her and it's like a holy shit moment at the end of the movie? That would be fun, I guess.
and then Deadpool yells at the people who didn't watch the Disney Plus shows.
Exactly. See,
I think I'm breaking the fourth wall too
we're
much.
about to be way off on this prediction, but I think that I do think that's something, and this is going to be by far probably like the best movie ever made. But
Maybe it'll be like what was the guy that evolved to everything? Darwin.
oh
That
yeah,
died at the very beginning of X-Men First Class. They should bring like some random person back like that we never really got to test their potential.
yeah.
Or even
Well, they
like the
do have
guy
the
who
one
played.
dude from X-Men First Class, the devil guy's back. You saw him in the trailer.
Oh yeah, Zazel.
Yeah, Azazel's back.
And Azazel was dead in X-Men Days of Future Past because when
Yeah,
Mystique was there, she actually found a folder that showed him and what was Lenny Kravitz's daughter's name? She was the
Zoe Kravitz. I
fairy
don't remember.
that spit like the fireballs. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. They were all dead. So then they would have to be multiverse ones and not the ones from
Mm-hmm.
X-Men. Oh
I
my
know.
gosh. And Azazel and Mystique were supposed aren't they originally Nightcrawler's parents?
I think so.
In like
Yeah.
the original run?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I'm so
Cool.
excited. It's all gonna be
Well,
chaos, but it's gonna be so fun.
and we're gonna get to see it together. Yes.
What?
Do you have any final thoughts though, as we wrap this episode up?
I know. I'm so excited. I think the things I'm most excited about for this Europe trip are the Mickey boat, seeing Deadpool and Wolverine, and then going to Pustix Bridge.
What is that?
That's that's in it's just out it's an hour outside of London, and it's where A. Milne, like, had his and they played
Okay, yeah.
yeah. It's
I
Winnie
got
the
you
Pooh.
now. You're okay. No, I got you now. I got you now.
I'm
Yeah.
going to Pooh's
Um,
Corner, guys.
I'm excited to obviously eat my weight in ice cream and Mickey bars, of course, but the
Oh, see,
fact
I
that
can
we're
do
gonna
that
drink
anytime.
beers, well, we're gonna it's on the house, on the Mickey boat,
It's not in the
man.
house, you paid for it.
I did. I'm eating $10,000 worth of Mickey ice cream.
Mhm.
God damn it.
Exactly. Nothing is
Oh
free at
man.
Disney. You paid for it one
Nothing.
way or the
We
other, but yeah.
did. It's not. So go
So
ahead, follow us. Go ahead.
no, just next week, yeah, we'll be talking about because we'll be home next week when we record. We'll be
We'll
talking about
give
Deadpool and Wolverine, and we will be recapping our vacation. There's no prep to that, so that'll be nice. And we're just gonna bullshit about all of that. So that'll
yeah.
be a fun episode to
Our
record.
next week's episode is going to be reviewing the movie. We're going to give you our spoiler-free thoughts out of the theater after we've had some beers, of course, and watched this movie, and we're going to be high on life. So see that, go find that, and then compare it to the next week's episode where we actually break down the movie and talk about our vacation. It's sure to be fun. Follow us as always. We've done some really, really awesome creator interviews, man, with comic book creators such as Michael Schwartz, Matthew Ehrman, Jordan Morris, like just so many out there. Trevor has come back on, and so go check that out. And then, as always, Hops Geek News, that's where you can find us. And then also nerdinitiative.com. Every week, you can find our comic book reviews. So, with that said, hey, let us know what your predictions were, if they came right, if they came wrong, how stupid we are about ours. And we will see you guys live in action next week.